Well, hey, B. You know, I'm not talking. I'm not talking unless you giving me likes, you commenting, and you subscribing. You hear me? Thank you. Listen, I want us to talk more about Kenya Moore because you guys know after much further delay, she finally dropped a video on us on this past Saturday. And in that video, she touched on a lot of stuff that people had already pretty much touched on, in all honesty, with the whole Brit Edie situation and her exposing, an image of her in the middle of a sex act or whatever. It sparked a lot of outrage, with the fans and stuff against Brit, against Kenya. So it's been a lot going on. And because Kenya was iced out of season 16 of Real Housewives of Atlanta without getting any confessionals, an opportunity to apologize on camera with the rest of the cast, she unfortunately had to come down to the YouTube where she gave us her confessionals. And it doesn't appear that this is going to be her last time giving us confessionals. But I'll be honest, honey, the way everything was a bit unorganized in my personal, I'm wondering if she is gonna bring us more in the future and whether she gonna be on time at that. All right, she hasn't given us any consistent schedule to be looking forward to, so I guess we'll see her when we see her. All right. A lot of fans did react, and I want to get into some of the things that the fans had to say. I have quite a few tweets and things over here for us to get into, but in addition to that, I want us to talk about Marc Daly as well. Her ex-husband, because I think that they got officially divorced last year, but I don't know what the hell those people got going on, to be honest, because it's been such a long time of her trying to get this divorce from this man. So we'll touch on that in just a second, but in the meantime, let us go ahead and hop into some of the comments of what people had to say or their reactions to Kenya Moore's video, her taking accountability because she did apologize to Brit, the cast, the producers. She apologized again, took accountability again, acknowledged that what she did was not right, it was wrong or whatever. Some feel that she went on to continue to justify her actions at the end of the day. So she's been getting mixed reviews, all right, in response to this video, but a lot of what I seen appeared to be negative. Okay, so let us go ahead and get into it. The first person says, I don't care what y'all say about Kenya Moore, she needs to be at the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. Like, bravo, send the invite before we riot. We need twirls, reads, and receipts. All right, that's what they're saying. Listen, after she pretty much called out the producers for their lack thereof investigation, I don't see them inviting her. And I do have questions about when she was invited. Were you invited originally? Because, of course, you were a part of the cast. And then once they decided to suspend you, did they also suspend your rights to a reunion? Or was it as early as this year? Because she did say a few months ago. So maybe she was still invited. Maybe that was still on the table. And then in early January, they said absolutely not. I don't know. But I, just like she said, and you could tell in the video, she was holding back tears. Just as she pretty much already said, like, I don't expect an invitation. After they snatched one back, I don't see that. I would not be surprised if maybe at the end of the season they do give her the opportunity to have a one-on-one with Andy Cohen, just like they did with Robyn when, she left out the whole situation of Juan trying to connect with another woman. They ended up giving her that one-on-one special on Watch What Happens Live with Andy, and then they also released her from the show. So they may give Kenya that opportunity towards the end of the season. Who knows? But hopefully she has other ventures that's going to be coming up. Maybe she could go off and do Traders potentially, and some other shows that they may have under NBC Universal. But leave your thoughts on that. All right, let's get to the next one. Someone else says, I think this plays well to the fans, but it doesn't mean anything as far as the investigation goes, because an old interview where she says she always has a gun isn't proof, meaning Brit, isn't proof that she had it at the bank, and Kenya knows that, but she also knows what to say to get y'all on her side. Well, as far as getting people on her side, the people are already on her side based on watching the show. I think a lot of people gave Brit the chance that she wanted to have. And I think they kind of gave that to her until they started seeing, even the people that didn't like Kenya was like, now wait a minute, now that lady ain't even much had did then. Because we know when Kenya do something, i.e. what she did at the salon, we gonna call her out and we gonna be on her tail about it. And it's gonna be very clear when she's in the wrong. And I think the people were kind of already on her side. All right. And there's that. Let's see. Somebody else says, I think what Kenya is missing is that really no one is saying what Britt said was okay. Majority are saying it was out of line and producers should have punished her. But Kenya took things to a different level. It was tacky and tasteless, and she is getting what she deserves. All right. So they feel like she get what she deserved. But I will say I do agree with the first half. I feel like they both were wrong. All right. In my personal. All right, to me. So let's keep going. Someone else says this meant absolutely nothing. And this video was just a bunch of Twitter and YouTube takes with zero actual receipts. Okay. Now, I mean, I didn't really get any receipts either. And in all honesty, it was a lot of what I had already heard. So when I did the video and we all got into it together, I did acknowledge that, it wasn't anything that we didn't already know necessarily. All right, let us get into it. Somebody else says, girl, shut the fuck up. Nobody be scared of someone with a gun and antagonize them. No one, if you scared, you shut the fuck up. Not make it worse. Bye, Kenya. And stop saying since Phaedra wasn't around when you did your stuff, it was cool. A threat is a threat, period. Well, I hate that people be trying to equate the two because you don't like her. Completely different settings, completely different tones. One person was present when it was made towards them, the other person was absolutely not there. You know what I'm saying? And I think this argument may better fit when it comes to people saying, oh, just like the person said earlier on when they were like, oh, well, just because she said in a previous interview that she always has her weapon doesn't mean that she had it on her that day. So that may compare to that situation potentially, but it doesn't compare to the situation of the threats that were given at the bank versus her laughing and talking about something with a friend and not actually doing that to Phaedra. Although Phaedra did come to the reunion with a shocker or whatever you call the thing ready for her, a taser ready for her. Okay, so I guess, but okay. Someone else says, listen, whether you're team twirl or not, this video is or was definitely worth a listen. Kenya gave the Real Housewives of Atlanta audience receipts, accountability, and transparency in one video. I mean, I feel like and when I say I didn't really get any receipts, right? I feel like for me, some of the receipts that were given were just things that I've already seen, i.e. like Britt saying that she keeps her item with her. I have no doubt that she had it with her that night. She was the one that was afraid to go over to the bankhead area. And knowing that she doesn't have security and security would be her husband, I am liable to believe that they definitely had it on them. Period. Okay, period. I definitely believe that. All right. And let's get to this last one where someone says, if Kelly, Porsha, and Shamia had acknowledged the seriousness of Britt's alleged gun reference, the outcome could have been very different. Kenya's dismissal feels unjust, especially when threats of violence, particularly something as severe as referencing a gun, are involved. That kind of threat should have been met with immediate and thorough investigation, and if confirmed, it should have carried weight in Bravo's decision making. All right. It's unfortunate how alliances and narratives can skew accountability, especially in reality TV, where storylines sometimes overshadow real world consequences. Kenya may have been painted as the aggressor, but the context matters. And if that threat was real and brushed aside, it's a failure on multiple fronts, okay? Or fronts, shall I say. So that's that. All right. Now that's what some of the fans are saying. I guess the ones that I captured weren't as bad, but I definitely saw a lot of bad ones where they felt like, hey, girl, you could have kept this in video because you ain't tell us nothing that we didn't already know. The biggest thing that I will say I took from what Kenya Moore's video for me was the accountability and the apology yet again. In my personal, that is something that I took because that was something I brought up leading up to the moment. I said I was wondering whether or not Kenya was going to take accountability again and apologize, right? At this point, I do feel like whether she does it or does not, I don't think that it's going to change anything. I am starting to think that because Britt has so much time for the rest of the season, although a lot of people don't like her, And the way I'm seeing a lot of the hate makes me think she won't show up next year. But because she has so much time to potentially change people's minds or whatever, then I kind of can see her returning next season. All right, especially in an effort to smooth over whatever just happened to her this particular season. All right, now whether she'll get beyond the next season, I don't know. But we shall see. All right. In the meantime, in between time, I want us to hop over and I want us to talk more about Mr. Marc Daly and Miss Kenya Moore. Now, people started actually somebody sent me a photo from Kenya's story, and it showed a picture of or a video of Marc Daly and his daughter Brooklyn. Okay, and it was obviously Kenya that was filming it, and she said she put a caption up that says "in time" or something, always in time or whatever it is. Right, basically, with time comes good things or whatever. Right, so I guess the dynamic and the relationship with them are a bit better. All right, now people are wondering because not only did we see that video over on her Instagram page, but in addition to that, she did this video for the YouTube where she made sure to flash that big rock and the multiple rings that she had on her finger. Now, some thought that could be shade to Miss Britt. But then at the same time, some people were wondering, is she back with Marc? And then to see this video of them being together, I guess as a family or whatever, it made people question whether they were together. And it also made me question and some others question, like, girl, are y'all together because of this eviction situation? Did he need a place to go? Not necessarily sure. All right. But I'm just reporting to you guys what In Touch Weekly is reporting to you guys at this time. All right. They're saying Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kenya Moore's ex-husband, Marc Daly, sued for eviction. All right. They're saying that it's about, a six-figure situation. They're saying, according to court documents, Marc was sued by the landlord of his Brooklyn apartment building on October 25th of last year. The landlord claimed that Marc signed a lease extension in February 2024, and his lease was scheduled to end in June of 25. Apartments in the building run from $3,400 for a studio to $6,485 for a two-bedroom. Marc was paying $49.20 per month in rent. The landlord said he failed to pay rent for August and September of last year. They claimed he owed a total of $9,341 at the time that the lawsuit was filed. A judgment of possession was entered in the case on February of 2025. All right. Just a crazy situation to be dealing with. I know Kenya like, dang, it's so much happening over here. Child, Marc, let me just keep going. So, on top of the eviction lawsuit, Marc is fighting a lawsuit brought by a separate landlord over alleged unpaid rent for another property. Back in July of 2024, a landlord named 507 Myrtle LLC sued Marc, along with other LLCs. They're saying the landlord said the lawsuit was being brought to recover payment under two retail leases signed by the defendants. And see, this is what I was thinking at first. I thought that it was more so tied to the retail spaces. I didn't know that he had an apartment situation that was going on until I got into this article. They're saying the landlord said the defendants had defaulted on the leases for two retail spaces in a Brooklyn building. The suite said the defendants signed a lease in 2017 along with the expansion lease in 2019. In 2017, they had a 10-year term that was to expire in 2027. The 2019 lease had a 10-year term that expired in 2019. I guess things have definitely changed. Since the pandemic, things have been crazy, right? And we thought that we were going to see businesses be shut down, closed, or whatever, maybe the first 2 years after the pandemic. But people are still, in my opinion, dealing with the effects of the pandemic to this day. When I tell y'all, quality of some restaurants, primarily I would say fast food restaurants, has really gone downhill. It is crazy. I mean, as if they had high quality before, but some places you could probably count on more fresh food. When I tell you they may reheat up old fries and stuff, like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Like, the food industry is a little crazy, but I feel like some of the restaurants aren't as bad. Some of the restaurants have been doing fairly decent. I've been seeing new places pop up here or there, but child, I think it's been rough for a lot of people, especially in the retail space, for a very long periodically time. And unfortunately, Marc is having to deal with the retail issues. okay, and as well as the personal issues that he got going on. But at least he can find some joy in his daughter, Brooklyn, as well as Miss Kenya Moore. So are they back together? I don't think that they are. You know, I understand all of us had those questions. We were just wondering, like, what's really going on. You know, y'all look like y'all together. She wearing this ring and stuff. Like, what's what? So yeah, I mean, maybe they're just at a better co-parenting space than where they have been previously. So, but hopefully she ain't back with that man. But I don't know, child, because I don't even know if they fully divorced for real. So either way it go, good luck. Y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below about everything we talked about as far as the fans' reactions to Kenya Moore's video, as well as her and Marc Daly, over there rekindling of some sort. That's all that I have for you guys. I'm Jami, that's me. And of course, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I can face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film, I can feel it.